The movie starts with a guy named Lorenzo being chased by some people. Lorenzo is a gambler who beat a man named Gino. Gerbino, Gino's friend, can't stand losing and wants to kill Lorenzo. Fortunately, Lorenzo gets away. The next day, Lorenzo's friends tell him he has to leave town because Gino's men are after him.
Won't rest until you're dead.
Lorenzo quickly rides off on a horse to leave town. Next, we meet a girl named Pinia, who is the princess of the town. Her parents recently died from the plague, and she feels very lonely. Then, Gerbino comes to see her and says he will take care of her. Pinia tells him not to worry because she is going to marry a Russian prince named Zinska soon. Gerbino lies and says Pinia's father owed him a lot of money, and borrowed from him to pay off his debt.
Your father borrowed money from me to pay his debts against the security of this house and all his other assets. All this.
Because of this, all her father's property now belongs to Gerbino, and Pinia will get nothing. However, if Pinia marries him, he will forgive her father's debt. Pinia doesn't say anything and leaves. Meanwhile, Gino's men are chasing Lorenzo to kill him, but Lorenzo climbs a tree and tricks them. However, the tree branch breaks and he falls, knocking himself out. Some nuns pass by and carry Lorenzo to the church. The nuns admire his looks and, unable to resist, they start kissing him.
He's beautiful, strong.
They think he can't speak or hear, so they keep having fun with him. Then their mother arrives and asks about Lorenzo. Since the nuns like him, they lie and say he's a gardener who is deaf and mute. Lorenzo hears everything and sees this as a chance to hide in the church from Gino's men.
Can you hear?
Later, while Lorenzo is bathing, two nuns come in, and Lorenzo surprises them, being intimate with both. Meanwhile, Pinia is with her friends discussing how to avoid Gerbino. Her friends suggest that she should go to a nearby church and pretend to be a nun. They tell her that Prince Zinska will arrive in a few days and she can marry him then, but until that time she needs to stay safe. Following their advice, Pompena dresses as a nun and goes to the church. She sees Lorenzo and asks who he is. The nuns tell her that he is the gardener.
Who's that man? Oh, he's our gardener.
And that he is also mute and deaf. Hearing this, she starts watching him. Lorenzo takes one of the nuns to the bushes to be intimate with her, and Pinia sees this happen. A few days later, Zinska arrives at the palace to marry Pompena but instead encounters Gerbino. Gerbino tells Zinska to return to Russia because Pompena will marry him. Hearing this, Zinska gets angry and leaves. As he steps out of the palace, he learns from a worker that Pompena has gone to the church in the nearby town and is hiding there disguised as a nun.
She's safe and well, and no matter what you hear is waiting for your arrival. This letter will give you instructions on how to get to her villa in the country. She'll meet you there for the wedding.
Upon hearing this, Zinska quickly heads toward the church. Two nuns approach Lorenzo and tell him they have never clapped before, asking him to clap them. Lorenzo, being a nice guy, can't refuse them. After clapping, they take him to their mother's room, and he also claps the mother all day long. However, Pompena doesn't like all this. The next day, she directly goes to Lorenzo and expresses her feelings. Lorenzo wants to take her veil off, but she stops him and blindfolds him. Lorenzo finds all this unique and gets even more excited, but Pompena just kisses him. She tells him that she likes him, but when Lorenzo removes the blindfold, he sees she's gone. Pompena then goes straight to the mother and says Lorenzo is a liar. She heard him singing in the garden, so he's not mute or deaf.
I heard him singing in the garden.
The mother goes to Lorenzo's room to check. He is sleeping, so she whispers in his ear that she is there to kill him. Lorenzo gets scared and wakes up shouting, "Please don't kill me." The mother gets angry because he lied about his disability and kicks Lorenzo out of the church.
A miracle! I can speak!
After this, Pompena also leaves the church and starts heading back towards her palace. Lorenzo tells her to take him with her because he has no home of his own. Pinia is happy to hear this because she also wanted Lorenzo to go with her. After that, we see Prince Zinska coming toward the church. There he sees a bathing nun named Melissa. Zinska tells her that he's the Prince of Russia and has come here to marry Princess Pompena. He asks her where Pompena is, and the nun lies, telling him that she is Pompena. Zinska is very happy to hear this, and then both clap each other.
You are Pompena Anastasia, soon to be my bride, is this not true?
No, I'm an enchantress. And you have answered my call.
Pina and Lorenzo have reached town, and Pina tells Lorenzo that he can stay with her in her house for a few days.
Wait, Lorenzo! You could stay. Just a little longer.
During dinner time, Lorenzo confesses that he has fallen in love with a nun who kissed him in the church, and he couldn't see her face but wanted to marry her. Pina doesn't reveal to Lorenzo that she is the same girl he is talking about. Meanwhile, Gerbino arrives and, seeing Lorenzo with Pampena, gets very angry and starts to attack him. He is about to kill Lorenzo, but Pampena tells him she is ready to marry him if he doesn't kill Lorenzo and lets him go. After this, Gerbino has Lorenzo imprisoned in jail. The next day, Pampena tells Gerbino that she won't marry him until he releases Lorenzo from jail safely.
Release Lorenzo. And you can send for the priest.
Now? You'll marry me now?
Yes.
Upon hearing this, Gerbino gets very angry but eventually agrees to her condition. Lorenzo is taken out of the cell, and Pina tells him to please go and find his love. However, Gino's companions accompany Lorenzo to escort him out of town, but they attack Lorenzo, prompting him to defend himself and end up killing both of them. Lorenzo then sets off back to town to rescue Pampena. The church father is conducting Pampena and Gino's wedding ceremony when Zinska arrives unexpectedly. He declares that Pina belongs to him and that he is the one who will marry her. Zinska then attacks Gerbino and his men. Lorenzo also arrives, leading to a fight among them. Gerbino pursues Pampena, but he encounters Zinska on the way. They engage in combat, but Zinska defeats Gerbino, seemingly about to kill him. At this moment, Lorenzo intervenes and tells Zinska that Gerbino is his prey, and he will be the one to kill him. Gerbino, wielding his sword, begins to fight atop a well. Lorenzo manages to overpower Gerbino and pushes him into the well, causing him to fall to his death. Zinska then goes to Pampena and asks her to marry him. She says she cannot marry him.
Count Zazinski, you are one of the bravest, most handsome men I've ever met.
Yes, I know.
But I cannot marry you.
Zinska is confused and asks about what happened the day before. Pampena doesn't know and takes off her veil. Zinska realizes Pampena is not the woman he fell in love with. Suddenly, Melissa arrives. Zinska sees her, says he loves her, and kisses her. Pampena can't find Lorenzo, who has disappeared. Pina runs outside and sees Lorenzo leaving. She stops him and tells him she loves him.
Lorenzo! You have stolen my heart. I love you.
But Lorenzo says no because he loves the nun who kissed him in the church. Pampena asks him to close his eyes and kisses him. In that moment, Lorenzo realizes that Pampena is the girl he had fallen in love with. The movie ends with this sweet revelation. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.